Hello and welcome to Master English Stories. Here we share stories that inspire, stories that teach us about courage, hope, and the power of the human spirit. Every story has a lesson, a spark of inspiration, and a moment that can change the way we see the world, whether it's about bravery, kindness, or overcoming challenges. You're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and get ready to experience stories that touch your heart and lift your soul. Welcome to a journey of hope, courage, and inspiration. The story of September 11th, 2001, did not begin on that morning. It began years before, in caves, training camps, and secret meetings. The group called Al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden, was preparing for something the world had never seen before. In the late 1990s, Al-Qaeda had already attacked American targets, the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania in 1998, and the U.S. coal warship in Yemen in 2000. But they wanted something bigger, something that would shake America to its core. The operational mastermind was Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. He had the idea of using airplanes as weapons. Osama bin Laden approved it. A group of young men, mostly from Saudi Arabia, were chosen. They were trained to fly planes, to fight, and to die. By mid-2001, the plan was ready. 19 men, divided into 4 teams, entered the United States. They lived quietly in Florida, New Jersey, and Boston. They trained in flight schools, practiced martial arts, and studied the routines of American airports. On the evening of September 10th, 2001, most Americans were preparing for an ordinary Tuesday. Children finished homework, parents prepared for work, travelers packed bags. The hijackers, meanwhile, prayed together, wrote final notes, and called their families for the last time. They were ready to die. The night was calm. No one in New York, Washington, or Pennsylvania imagined that the next morning would change the world forever. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, as the sounds of the planes crashing into the Twin Towers echoed across the city, people in New York could hardly believe what they were seeing. Streets were full of panicked people, running in every direction. Dust and smoke filled the air, making it difficult to see or breathe. Some people were helping others to escape, guiding them down crowded stairwells and into subway tunnels. Emergency sirens blared continuously, and firefighters and police officers rushed toward the disaster, ignoring their own safety. Families tried to contact their loved ones, but the phone lines were jammed. Many people were trapped in nearby buildings, unsure if they could get out safely. The streets were filled with cries for help, as strangers offered water, blankets, and comfort to each other. News helicopters hovered above, broadcasting live footage of the destruction. Everyone who watched felt a mix of fear, sadness, and disbelief. It became clear that this was not an ordinary accident, but a coordinated attack. At 8:46 a.m., no American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Just 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower. The impacts caused massive fires, igniting jet fuel and burning office materials. The heat weakened the steel framework of both towers. Inside, thousands of people struggled to escape. Firefighters ascended the stairwells, carrying hoses, oxygen, and rescue equipment, while others guided workers down the stairs. Some elevators were stuck, trapping people on higher floors. Panic spread as smoke thickened, and the heat became unbearable. At 9:59 a.m., after burning for over an hour, the South Tower collapsed. Its massive weight created a cloud of dust and debris, pushing buildings nearby to shudder. The North Tower, despite heroic efforts, fell at 10:28 a.m., marking a tragic loss of life. Nearly 3,000 people died that day, including passengers on the planes, office workers, firefighters, and police officers. Over 6,000 people were injured, many suffering burns, broken bones or lung problems from the dust. The destruction extended to nearby buildings, cars, and infrastructure, causing billions of dollars in damage. Rescue operations continued for days. Firefighters, police, and volunteers sifted through the rubble, searching for survivors and recovering the remains of victims. Hospitals overflowed, and communities organized blood drives, food donations, and temporary shelters for those who lost their homes. The attacks of September 11, 2001 shocked the entire world. People everywhere felt fear, sadness, and anger. Governments around the globe condemned the attacks and expressed solidarity with the United States. Memorials and vigils were held in cities from London to Tokyo, Paris to Sydney, as people tried to understand the tragedy. In the United States, President George W. Bush addressed the nation, promising that America would respond and protect its citizens. Emergency services, law enforcement, and the military worked together to secure the country, investigate the attackers, and prevent further attacks. The events also led to major changes in international security. Airports increased screening procedures, governments passed stricter laws, and intelligence agencies shared more information to prevent terrorism. People became more aware of safety protocols, and communities learned to support each other during crises. Families of the victims faced unimaginable grief. Many lost loved ones in the towers, on the planes, or among the rescue workers. Support groups, counselors, and volunteers provided comfort, helping survivors cope with their pain. Despite the tragedy, acts of heroism and kindness were everywhere. Strangers helped strangers, neighbors opened their homes, and firefighters and police risked their lives to save others. The memory of 9/11 also inspired art, literature, and education. Documentaries, books, and films were created to remember the victims, honor the heroes, and teach future generations about courage, unity, and resilience. Schools held lessons on history and tolerance, encouraging students to understand the importance of peace and coexistence. Even today, 9/11 remains a turning point in modern history. It reminds the world of the power of hope, bravery, and coming together in times of crisis. While the pain and loss will never be forgotten, the courage of ordinary people inspires millions to act with kindness and determination, showing that even in darkness, humanity can shine brightly. After the attacks,
the United States and the world began to create memorials to honor the victims and heroes. One of the most famous is the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York City. The memorial features twin reflecting pools in the footprints of the Twin Towers, surrounded by the names of everyone who lost their lives. Visitors can see artifacts, photos and personal stories of courage and sacrifice. Across the country, communities created local memorials in schools, parks and city squares. These places serve as spaces for reflection, remembrance, and education. People gather every year on September 11th to light candles, lay flowers, and read the names of those who died. These ceremonies remind everyone of the value of life, the importance of unity, and the need to stand against hate and violence. The lessons of 9/11 are powerful. They teach resilience in the face of tragedy, the importance of helping others, and the need for peace and understanding. Heroes came from all walks of life: firefighters, police officers, paramedics, volunteers, and ordinary citizens. Their bravery reminds us that even when the world seems dark, individuals can make a difference. Internationally, 9/11 brought countries closer together. Nations worked to fight terrorism, improve safety, and support victims. People of different religions, races, and backgrounds learned to stand united against hatred. Schools teach students about tolerance, compassion, and the importance of global cooperation.
The legacy of 9/11 also inspires personal reflection. It reminds us to value every moment, cherish our loved ones, and act with kindness. From children writing letters to firefighters, to communities raising funds for victims, every action counts. The memory of that day encourages people to be brave, hopeful, and resilient. Even more than 20 years later, 9/11 is not just a story of loss. It is a story of courage, love, and unity. It teaches that when tragedy strikes, people can rise, help each other, and create something meaningful from the darkness. The spirit of 9/11, of heroes, survivors, and everyday people who acted with kindness, reminds humanity that even in the face of evil, hope and courage can prevail. After September 11th, many people found ways to turn their grief into action. Survivors, families, and volunteers started programs to help others, showing the world that hope can grow, even from tragedy. One story is about a firefighter named John. He lost many friends in the towers, but instead of giving up, he dedicated his life to teaching young people about safety, courage, and teamwork. John visits schools, shares his experiences, and encourages students to pursue their dreams fearlessly. His story reminds everyone that even after losing so much, one person can make a huge difference. Another example is Maria, who lost her brother in the attacks. She founded a charity that supports children who have experienced loss. The organization provides counseling, mentorship, and educational programs to help children heal and grow. Through her work, Maria turned her grief into a source of hope for thousands of young people. There are also stories of ordinary citizens who acted heroically. Taxi drivers, volunteers, and strangers opened their homes, shared meals, and offered comfort to those in need. These acts of kindness, small as they may seem, created a ripple effect that inspired communities across the world. Even in schools, children wrote letters to first responders, organized fundraising events, and learned the importance of empathy. These young hearts understood that hope is powerful and can spread through simple acts of love and courage. The 9/11's attacks also inspired technological and social changes. New security measures, disaster response systems, and support networks were created to prevent future tragedies. People realized that by working together, they could protect lives, build resilience, and create a safer world. Through these stories, we learn that even in the darkest moments, humans have the capacity to rise, help, and inspire. September 11th is not only a day of mourning, but also a day that teaches courage, empathy, and the power of community. Every memorial, every act of kindness, and every life touched by 9/11s carries the message that even when tragedy strikes, people can choose hope, love, and action. This is the lasting legacy of September 11th, a reminder that the human spirit can overcome darkness and create light. The events of September 11th, 2001, changed the world forever. Countries began to rethink their security, intelligence, and emergency response systems. Airports, borders, and public spaces introduced stricter safety measures. While these changes were challenging, they helped protect millions of people around the world. The attacks also brought nations closer. Countries shared intelligence, coordinated anti-terrorism efforts, and learned from each other. Global cooperation became more important than ever, proving that when nations work together, they can prevent future tragedies and save lives. On a social level, September 11th taught people the value of unity, tolerance, and understanding. Communities realized that fear and prejudice only create more problems. By embracing diversity and helping each other, societies can grow stronger and more resilient. Education became a powerful tool for change. Schools and universities introduced programs to teach students about history, empathy, and global citizenship. Young people learned that understanding different cultures, religions, and perspectives can reduce conflicts and make the world safer. The economic impact of 9/11s was also significant. Many businesses were affected, but people found ways to rebuild. Entrepreneurs, workers, and volunteers created new opportunities, showing that resilience and determination can overcome even the greatest challenges. On a personal level, September 11th reminded everyone that life is precious. Families learned to cherish every moment, friends supported each other, and communities came together in ways that inspired hope and courage. People realized that even after tragedy, they could choose to live with love, kindness, and purpose. Finally, the legacy of September 11th is one of learning, growth, and inspiration. It teaches future generations about courage, empathy, resilience, and the importance of unity. It reminds us that even in the darkest times, human beings have the power to heal, rebuild, and create a brighter future. Every memorial, story, and act of courage from that day continues to inspire millions around the world. September 11th is more than a historical event. It is a lesson about the strength of the human spirit, the power of hope, and the enduring light of compassion.
September 11th, 2001, left deep marks on the hearts of people everywhere. Survivors, families, first responders, and witnesses all experienced pain, loss, and confusion. Yet, their stories also reveal courage, hope, and resilience. Many survivors spoke about the small moments that gave them strength. A helping hand, a comforting word, or even a shared silence became sources of hope. These moments remind us that humanity shines brightest in the darkest times. First responders showed extraordinary bravery. Firefighters, police, paramedics, and volunteers risked and often gave their lives to save others. Their actions teach us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. For many, September 11th became a turning point. People re-evaluated their priorities, strengthened family bonds, and committed to living meaningful lives. It reminded individuals that every day is precious, and small acts of kindness can create lasting impact. The world also learned the importance of empathy. Understanding others, respecting different cultures, and promoting peace became essential lessons. These principles help prevent hatred, violence, and misunderstanding from taking root. Moving forward, the legacy of September 11th challenges us to be better citizens, better neighbors, and better human beings. It inspires us to face difficulties with courage, to support each other, and to create communities where everyone feels safe and valued. By remembering the stories of loss, survival, and heroism, we honor those affected. We also remind ourselves that even after tragedy, hope can grow and human spirit can flourish. September 11th is not just a day of sorrow, it is a day of reflection, learning, and inspiration. Each of us can carry forward the lessons of that day. By showing courage, empathy, and kindness, we create a world where tragedies are met with unity, where challenges are met with strength, and where hope never fades. September 11th, 2001 will always be remembered as a day of tragedy, but it is also a day that teaches us about strength, unity, and the power of hope. Through pain, loss, and fear, people discovered courage they did not know they had, and compassion that inspired others. The stories of first responders remind us that even in the darkest moments, there are people willing to risk everything for the sake of others. Their bravery is a lesson that heroism is not about fame or recognition, but about choosing to act when it matters most. For ordinary people, the day became a moment of reflection. It taught families to treasure each other, to forgive, and to cherish life's small joys. It reminded us that love, kindness, and empathy can grow stronger than fear. Communities around the world came together in support and solidarity. This unity shows that humanity can rise above hatred and division. Even when tragedy strikes, people can choose to build bridges of understanding instead of walls of resentment. We honor those who lost their lives, those who were injured, and those who worked tirelessly to save others. Their memories remind us that life is fragile, that every day is precious, and that every act of courage and kindness matters. Let September 11th be a guide. Let it inspire us to help others, to act with compassion, and to face life's challenges with resilience. By doing so, we honor the past, improve the present, and create a brighter future. No matter what hardships we face, the human spirit can endure. Even after darkness, hope can shine. Even after loss, love can grow. And even in the midst of fear, courage can guide. So remember September 11th, not only for what was lost, but also for what was learned, that people are stronger together, that acts of kindness matters, and that hope is never too small to make a difference. In the end, life continues, and we carry the lessons forward. Let us honor the past, live fully in the present, and build a future filled with compassion, courage, and hope. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this story inspired you, reminded you of the strength within, and the power of hope. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories that will touch your heart. Remember, no matter the challenges life throws at us, courage, kindness, and hope can guide us. Stay inspired, keep dreaming, and never give up.